Alright, quick test. If I showed you 10 rifles on a table, could you pick the one worth over $1 million without Googling? Most people couldn't. And that's exactly why so many of these rifles are sitting in closets right now, undervalued, misunderstood, and one bad cleanup away from losing massive money. In this video, I'm counting down 10 rifles that serious collectors pay top dollar for. You're going to hear real auction prices, real history, and the exact reasons these guns keep climbing. And I want you to play along by the end. Comment how many of these you own. 1, 2, 3, or 0. Because if you own even one, you might be sitting on serious money. Stay to number 1. Because number 1 is the rifle that proves better than anything else. The best investment in the gun world isn't buying, it's never selling. Let's start the countdown. Number 10. Colt R15. SP1. Pre-ban. This is the original civilian AR-15, the grandfather of every modern sporting rifle in America today. Colt began producing the SP1 in 1963, long before anybody was calling it an assault rifle. Long before politics ever touched it. Back then, it was simply a lightweight, accurate, semi-automatic version of the military M16 that Colt was selling to the U.S. Armed Forces. Then, in 1994, the United States passed the federal assault weapons ban. That law restricted certain features on civilian AR-15s, bayonet lugs, flash hiders, collapsible stocks, and others. From that moment on, every pre-1994 SP1 became something special, an irreplaceable piece of American firearms history that cannot legally be remanufactured in its original form. The most desirable variant is the early slab-side lower receiver, made before Colt added the fence around the magazine release. Those early rifles are getting rarer every single year. Collectors are pulling them out of the market, putting them in safes, and never letting them go past value. A new SP1 in 1971 cost around $200, current market value. A clean pre-ban SP1 in original configuration sells today for $2,000 to $3,500. A mint example with the original box manual and paperwork. What collectors call new in box can bring $4,000 to $6,000. That's a 15 to 30 times return over 50 years on a rifle that started as a working gun. So if you have one of these, do not modify it. Do not refinish it. And do not, under any circumstances, sell it cheap. Number 9. The Springfield Model 1903. This is America's first modern bolt action service rifle, adopted by the U.S. Army in 1903. It served through both world wars and into the early years of Korea. This is the rifle Sergeant Alvin York carried into the Argonne Forest in 1918, when he single-handedly captured 132 German soldiers. One of the most legendary acts in American military history. The 1903 is everything a collector loves. Walnut stocks, hand-fitted parts, and serial numbers that tell you exactly when and where it was built. A World War I dated rifle with matching numbers is a window straight into the trenches of France, past value. Surplus M1903 rifles sold for $20 to $50 in the 1950s. Through the government's Director of Civilian Marksmanship Program, the predecessor of today's CMP current market value. Basic shooter. Great examples bring around 800 to 1200 World War I dated rifles, with matching numbers, and original stocks sell for $2,500 to $5,000. And documented sniper variants. The M1903A4, with original Weaver scope, can bring 10,000 or more. If your grandfather brought one home from the war, and it has been sitting in the closet for 70 years, do not touch the metal. Do not clean it harshly. Do not refinish the stock. That original patina, the wear, the dings, the toned down bluing, that is the value. The moment you make it look new, you destroy what makes it collectible. Number 8. The Winchester Model 1894. The pre-1964 examples. This is the rifle that defined the American West for over 100 years. Designed by the great John Moses Browning, Introduced in 1894, more than 7 million have been made. It is the rifle on every old Western movie poster, the cowboy gun. The deer rifle of every American hunting cabin from Pennsylvania to Montana. So why are pre-1964 examples special? Because in 1964, Winchester made a business decision that broke collectors' hearts. To cut costs, the company switched from machined steel parts to stamped sheet metal. They simplified the finishing, they cheapened the wood. The post-64 rifles still functioned, but they lost their soul. That single year, 1964, became the dividing line in Winchester collecting. Pre-64 means quality. Pre-64 means investment. Past value, a new Model 94 in the 1950s cost $60 to $80. Current market value, standard pre-64 Model 94s in honest condition sell for $700 to $1,500. Deluxe versions with factory checkering go much higher, and the high end is staggering. In December 2020, a Winchester Model 1894 engraved by the legendary John Ulrich sold at Rock Island Auction Company for $558,125. That was a world record for the model, and it more than doubled the same rifle's price from 12 years earlier. If you have a pre-64 Model 94 with the original blued finish, walnut stock, and no modifications, you are holding an appreciating asset. Hold it. Number 7. The M1 Garand. General George S. Patton called it the greatest battle implement ever devised. And he was right. The M1 Garand was the standard service rifle of the United States military from 1936 through the early 1960s. It is the rifle that won World War II. It is the rifle that fought in Korea. Every American GI who stormed Omaha Beach, who fought through the hedgerows of Normandy, who pushed across the Pacific, they carried this rifle. 4 manufacturers made the Garand Springfield Armory, Winchester,
Harrington and Richardson.
International Harvester Springfield made the most. Winchester rifles are rarer and more valuable. International Harvester examples are the scarcest of all past value. In the 1960s and 1970s, you could buy a surplus M1 Garand from the government's DCM program for $50 to $100. Today, those same rifles are worth 20 to 100 times that price current market value. The Civilian Marksmanship Program, the CMP, still sells genuine USGI Garands when inventory is available. Service-grade rifles run around $1,000 to $1,200. Special-grade Winchester variants, when they show up, sell for significantly more on the secondary market. Correct collector. Grade W2 examples bring $3,000 to $8,000. And the high end? In December 2025, a rare chrome-plated Winchester presentation M1 Garand sold for $21,150. The single most valuable Garand ever sold. Serial number 1 million. Presented to John Garand himself upon his retirement from Springfield Armory in 1953. Sold for $287,500 in 2018. Now here's the reality in 2026. The supply of original USGI Garands has been tightening for years. The CMP still moves rifles through their programs when they can. But the easy days of endless surplus racks are long gone. So if you have an original M1 Garand, never refinish the stock, never replace original parts, and keep every piece of documentation that came with it. Comment below how many of these first 4 rifles do you already own. Type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the comments. And if you own 0, type 0, because I want to see who in this audience is just starting their collection. If you own even one of these rifles, congratulations, you are sitting on serious money. Keep watching, because the next 6 rifles are even more valuable. And one of them is the single most valuable rifle ever sold publicly in American history.
Number 6. The Winchester Model 70. Pre-1964 production. If the Model 94 is the cowboy rifle, the Model 70 is the rifleman's rifle. That is literally its nickname in the collector community. From its introduction in 1936 until that fateful year, 1964, the Winchester Model 70 was widely considered the finest American bolt-action sporting rifle ever mass-produced. The same 1964 cost-cutting that hurt the Model 94 also wrecked the Model 70. Winchester switched to a press-checkering stock, cheaper steel, and a redesigned action that purists hated. The post-64 Model 70 became a different rifle. The pre-64, it became a permanent investment piece. The most desirable pre-64 Model 70 variants are the Super Grade, the African calibers, 375 H&H Magnum, 458 Winchester, and rare chamberings like 220 Swift and the original 22 Hornet. Past value. A standard pre-64 Model 70 cost around $130 in the 1950s. Current market value. Standard grade pre-64s in honest condition sell for $1,500 to $3,000. Super grade examples bring $5,000 to $7,000, and rare African or Magnum chamberings in mint condition can push $10,000 and higher. Watch for fakes. Because the pre-64 Model 70 reputation is so strong, sellers sometimes try to pass off post-64 actions that have been upgraded. Always verify the serial number, the receiver markings, and the action style before buying or before selling.
Number 5. The original Henry rifle, 1860. Designed by Benjamin Tyler Henry in 1860. This is the rifle that changed warfare forever. The Henry was the world's first practical lever, action-repeating rifle. It held 16 rounds. In an era when soldiers were carrying single-shot muzzleloaders, the Henry was a flat-out revolution. Confederate soldiers facing Union troops armed with Henry rifles during the Civil War gave it a name that became legend. That damned Yankee rifle you could load on Sunday and shoot all week. Only about 14,000 Henry rifles were ever manufactured between 1860 and 1866 by the New Haven Arms Company. Of those, a much smaller number survive today in honest, shootable, original condition. Every year more are lost, destroyed, damaged, refinished into nothing. Past value. Civil War soldiers paid around $40 for a Henry, roughly a full month's pay for an enlisted man at the time. They paid out of pocket because they knew it could save their lives. Current market value, honest original examples in shooter, grade condition sell for $30,000 to $80,000. Examples with engraving, presentation features, or documented Civil War provenance go much higher. In May 2025, a factory-engraved, silver-plated New Haven Arms Henry rifle sold at Rock Island Auction Company for $411,250. That was the second most expensive Henry the auction house has ever sold. If you ever encounter an original Henry anywhere, get a professional appraisal before you do anything else. Do not clean it. Do not oil it heavily. Do not touch the brass receiver. Original patina is everything. Number 4. The Sharps Model 1874, the legendary Buffalo rifle. But this one, not as often talked about. There's a lot of talk around the Sharps, and for good reason. The Sharps was the rifle that won the American West. It was the favorite of buffalo hunters, frontier scouts, U.S. Army sharpshooters, and Texas Rangers. It was the rifle Tom Selleck immortalized in the film Quigley Down Under. It was the gun Billy Dixon used to make his famous 1,538-yard shot at the Battle of Adobe Walls in 1874. It was also the personal rifle of Bat Masterson, the gambler, lawman, and frontier legend. The Sharps fired massive cartridges 45-70-45, 110-50-90, and the famous 51-40. These rounds could drop a buffalo at 800 yards. Buffalo hunters in the 1870s and 1880s used Sharps rifles to slaughter the great herds of the American plains. A dark and tragic chapter of history, but one that places this rifle at the center of the American story. Past value. A custom Sharps in the 1870s cost $30 to $50, a serious investment for a working hunter. Current market value, clean original Sharps Model 1874 rifles sell today for $10,000 and up, depending on caliber configuration and barrel length. Military variants with documented unit markings bring substantially more, and in December 2025, Bat Masterson's personal Sharps Buffalo rifle sold at Rock Island Auction Company for $230,000, setting a new auction record for the model. If you have a Sharps in your family with any documented history, a letter, a photograph, a family story tying it to a known person or event, that rifle is worth a professional appraisal before anything else. Number 3. The Winchester Model 1886. This is where the collector market gets serious. The Model 1886 was another John Moses Browning design, and many gun historians consider it the finest lever-action rifle ever produced. Unlike its smaller predecessors, the 1886 was built strong enough to handle big-game cartridges. It chambered powerful rounds like the .45-70 Government and the .45-90. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, a serious hunter and a man who knew rifles, favored the Model 1886 for his hunting expeditions. That alone tells you everything about its reputation. The most valuable 1886s have one or more of 3 features: deluxe wood, factory engraving, or rare calibers. Pieces with all 3, and original condition, sit at the very top of the collector world past value. A standard Model 1886 cost around $20 to $30 in the late 1800s. Current market value standard rifles in honest condition sell for $3,000 to $8,000 today. Deluxe variants with original engraving bring $15,000 and higher. But here is where the numbers get serious. A gold inlaid Winchester Model 1886 sold at auction for $1,165,000. And a Model 1886 Express rifle bearing serial number 1, the very first one ever produced, presented by Medal of Honor recipient Lieutenant George E. Albee to fellow Medal of Honor recipient Captain Henry W. Lawton, sold at Rock Island Auction Company for $1,178,750. At the time, that was a world record for the most expensive single rifle ever sold at auction. The Model 1886 isn't just a gun for the right example. It is a $1 million asset. Number 2. The Winchester Model 1873. The legendary 1 of 1,000. This is the rifle from our opening story. Let me give you the full background. The Model 1873 itself is called the gun that won the West. It is the most famous Winchester ever made. But in 1875, Winchester announced something extraordinary. The company would test fire rifles from each batch of 1,000. The single most accurate rifle from each batch would be specially marked, deluxe finished, and stamped with the words 1 of 1,000 on the barrel. It was the world's first factory, certified premium grade rifle. Only 136 Model 1873s ever earned the 1 of 1,000 designation. Only about 40 are known to still exist today. The rest have been lost, destroyed, or sit in private collections that may never come back to market. Past value. A 1 of 1,000 cost roughly $100 in the 1870s. A small fortune at the time when a laborer earned about $1 a day. Current market value documented original examples sell in the range of $500,000 to $900,000. The serial number 27179 example I told you about at the start of this video, the very last 1 of 1,000 ever shipped by Winchester, sold for $805,000 at Rock Island Auction Company in September 2018. It more than doubled the high estimate of $375,000. And there is an even rarer cousin, the Model 1876, 1 of 100. Only 54 were ever made, and only 10 are known to exist today. One of those sold for $891,250 in the same 2018 auction. If you ever, and I mean ever, see 1 of 1,000 or 1 of 100 stamped on a Winchester barrel, do not touch it. Do not negotiate. Get a Cody Firearms Museum letter and a professional appraisal. You are looking at 6 or 7 figures. What is the oldest rifle in your family? Could be your grandfather's, your father's, anything passed down. Sometimes the most valuable rifle in America is sitting in someone's closet right now, and they have no idea what they own. Now let's get to number 1. The single most valuable rifle on this list, and the one that proves more than any other why you should never sell. Number 1. The Winchester Model 1880 6 Express Rifle. Serial number 1. I mentioned this rifle briefly at number 3, but it deserves its own spot at the top, because no other rifle in American history brings together so many layers of value, history, and provenance in a single object. Here is the story. The year is 1886. Winchester has just released their newest design, the Model 1886, designed by John Browning, the most powerful lever-action rifle ever made up to that point. The very first one off the line, serial number 001, is set aside. It is engraved, customized, built to perfection, and presented as a gift, the man who gave it, Lieutenant George E. Albee, a Medal of Honor recipient, a firearms designer, a close friend of the Browning family. The man who received it, Captain Henry W. Lawton, also a Medal of Honor recipient, a career U.S. Army officer who would go on to capture the Apache leader Geronimo just months later in September 1880. 6 Medal of Honor recipients. The first Model 1886 ever produced original condition, factory engraving, and a custom engraved pocket watch that came with the presentation. There is no other rifle in the world with this combination of provenance. When this rifle came up at Rock Island Auction Company, it sold for $1,178,750. At the time, that was the world record for the most expensive single rifle ever sold at public auction. It is the perfect example of why some rifles are simply never for sale at any reasonable price, once you have the right combination. Serial number 1. Original condition. Documented provenance to historical figures. You do not have a gun anymore. You have a museum piece. If you have any firearm in your family with a serial number under 100, especially a Winchester, Colt, Sharps, or Henry, do not touch it until you get a professional appraisal from a major auction house or certified expert. So let's bring it home. Those are the 10 rifles that will be worth a fortune, and the ones you should never sell. Let me recap them quickly. Number 10, the Colt R15 SP1. Number 9, the Springfield M1903. Number 8, the Pre-60, for Winchester Model 94. Number 7, the M1 Garand. Number 6, the Pre-60, for Winchester Model 70. Number 5, the original Henry rifle. Number 4, the Sharps Model 1874. Number 3, the Winchester Model 1886. Number 2, the Winchester 1 of 1000. And number 1, the Winchester Model 1886 serial number 1. If you own any of these rifles, here are the 4 rules every serious collector follows to protect their investment. Not the wood, not the metal, original patina, the wear, the toned bluing, the honest scuffs of decades, is the single biggest driver of collector value. The moment you sand a stock or re-blue a barrel, you can erase 50 to 80% of the rifle's worth. Rule 2, keep all paperwork. Original boxes, manuals, factory hang tags, sales receipts, hunting licenses tied to the gun, your grandfather's letters. Every piece of paper that documents history can double the value of a collector rifle. Rule 3, get a factory letter. For Winchesters, the Cody Firearms Museum in Wyoming issues factory letters that verify the original configuration, ship date, and destination of a rifle. For Colts, similar letters are available. A factory letter alone can add thousands of dollars to a rifle's appraised value. Rule 4, never modify. Every aftermarket scope mount, every replaced part, every modern stock destroys collector value, period. If you want a shooter, buy a modern rifle. If you have a collector, leave it alone. If this video helped you understand what your rifles are really worth, do 3 things. 1, hit the like button so YouTube shows this to more collectors who need to see it. 2, subscribe. Every week I break down the rifles, handguns, and historical firearms that are quietly making collectors rich. 3. Comment below with the oldest rifle in your family. Your story might be the one I feature in next week's video. Speaking of next week, I am breaking down the 5 rare handguns that are appreciating faster than any rifle on this list. If you have a revolver or pistol in your family, you cannot afford to miss it. Stay smart, stay patient, and remember, the best investment in the gun world isn't buying. It's never selling. I'll see you in the next one.